Hello everyone, I hope you enjoy listening to the story. My name is Victoria, 35 years old. I threw my husband a divorce party and invited his boss, his mistress, and his mother, all before he even knew he was getting divorced. I stand in the center of the room, fingers wrapped around a glass of champagne that I do not drink, watching the people who think they are here to celebrate a happy marriage. The lights are warm, the music is soft, and laughter floats through the air like nothing is about to break. My husband smiles across the room, one hand casually resting on the lower back of a woman he introduced as a colleague. He thinks I did not notice that small detail. He thinks I never notice anything. Let that sink in. I used to believe I had the perfect life. I supported his career when he had nothing but debt and ambition. I worked late nights so he could attend networking events. I smiled through dinners with his mother while she picked apart everything about me, from the way I dressed to the way I spoke. She always said I was not good enough for her son. He never corrected her. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself love meant patience. That belief almost ruined me. Then came the family trip. That is what he called it. A spontaneous getaway, just him and his mother, something I supposedly would not enjoy. I nodded. I even helped him pack. 2 days later, I saw the photos. Beach, sunset, wine glasses clinking, and her. The same woman standing across the room right now, pretending she does not recognize me beyond polite smiles. My chest did not explode the way I expected. It went quiet, cold. That silence told me everything I needed to know. I started digging. Emails, shared accounts, calendar entries that did not line up. It did not take long. Secret reservations, transfers of money that I had never approved. Conversations that made it clear this was not a mistake. It was a plan. A slow, careful replacement. Me out, her in. And the worst part? They both thought I would sign whatever papers he handed me without reading them, like I always did. I did not confront him. Why would I give him the chance to lie better? Instead, I smiled. I cooked dinner. I asked about his trip and listened as he lied without blinking. Inside, something shifted. Something sharper. If he wanted a performance, I would give him one. Not a scene. A spectacle. A room full of witnesses. A moment he could never rewrite. So, I planned this party. I invited everyone who mattered to him. His boss. His colleagues. His mother. And of course, her. I even picked the music he likes, the food his mother approves of, the wine he pretends to understand. Every detail is perfect. Because tonight is not about anger. It is about precision. He catches my eye and raises his glass, proud, relaxed, completely unaware. I smile back, calm, steady, already 2 steps ahead. Tell me, if you were in my place, would you expose the truth quietly, or would you wait until the entire world was watching? I do not sleep that night after the party plan is set in motion. Not because I am hurt anymore, but because my mind is too sharp, too focused, like every piece on a chessboard finally revealing its purpose. The next morning, I wake up before him and move through the house quietly, making coffee the way he likes it, placing the cup on the table exactly where he expects it to be. He walks in, kisses my cheek without really looking at me, and starts talking about work. His voice is steady, confident, rehearsed. I watch him closely, studying every micro-expression, every pause, every blink. He has no idea. I already know everything. That ignorance is my advantage. I play my role perfectly. I ask about his upcoming meetings, nod at the right moments. Even laugh when he makes a joke that is not funny. When he mentions a big opportunity at work. Something about impressing his boss and securing a promotion, I lean in with interest, as if I am still the supportive wife he believes me to be. Inside, I am cataloging everything. His ambitions. His weaknesses. The exact people whose opinions he values. Those are the people I invite. Not randomly. Strategically. Every guest on that list serves a purpose. His boss needs to see him fall. His colleagues need to witness the truth. His mother needs to understand that I was never the weak one. And her, the woman he thought he could replace me with. She needs to be exposed in the most undeniable way possible. That afternoon, I meet with a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, but someone who specializes in financial fraud and marital asset protection. I lay everything out on the table. The transactions I uncovered. The suspicious transfers. The hidden accounts. He listens carefully, his expression shifting from curiosity to quiet approval. When I finish, he leans back and says something that confirms what I already suspected. My husband has been preparing to leave me, not just emotionally, but legally and financially. He has been moving assets, trying to position himself to walk away with more than his share. It is not just betrayal. It is calculated. That changes everything. I do not just want a divorce anymore. I want accountability. We go through the documents together. Every page feels like a weapon. I learn about clauses I can invoke, protections I did not even realize were there, and most importantly, the leverage I now hold. The lawyer suggests we act quickly, file discreetly, and serve him privately. I shake my head. That is not my plan. I want him exposed. I want him to feel the weight of his choices in front of the people he has been trying to impress. The lawyer hesitates, at first, then nods slowly when he understands the precision of what I am building. He agrees to prepare everything. Quietly. Thoroughly. Ready to be executed at the exact moment I choose. Over the next few days, I gather evidence with a calm that surprises even me. I recover deleted messages from a shared device he forgot to secure. I document timelines, cross-reference dates, and match them with financial records. Every lie he told me is now backed by proof. Every secret meeting, every hidden expense, every promise he made to her while still sleeping in our bed. At one point, I find a message where he jokes about how easy it will be to get me to sign the divorce papers. I pause when I read that. My hands do not shake. My heart does not race. I simply take a screenshot and add it to the file. He has underestimated me from the beginning. That will be his biggest mistake. I also learn more about her. She is not just a random affair. She works at his company. Ambitious. Calculated. There are messages where she pushes him, encourages him to move faster, to secure his position, to stop wasting time. She believes she is stepping into a better life. She believes I am the obstacle. I almost feel sorry for her. Almost. Because she has no idea she is walking into a room where every illusion she has built will collapse in seconds. The invitations go out under the guise of a celebration. I keep the wording vague, but enticing. A gathering to celebrate growth, success, and family. People respond quickly. His boss confirms attendance. His colleagues express excitement. Even his mother calls me, her tone unusually pleasant, asking if there is anything she should bring. I tell her just to come and enjoy the evening. She thanks me, as if I am still trying to earn her approval. That almost makes me smile. The final step is the paperwork. I sign the divorce documents in a quiet office, the pen moving steadily across the page. There is no hesitation, no second thoughts. When I finish, I slide the papers back to the lawyer and feel something unexpected. Not sadness. Not relief. Control. For the first time in a long time, I am not reacting to his actions. I am defining the outcome. The lawyer seals everything, prepares the official copies, and confirms that he will be present at the event, ready to step in when I give the signal. That night, as I set the final details for the party, I walk through the space slowly. The lighting, the seating arrangement, the placement of the screen that will display everything. It all looks elegant, harmless, exactly what everyone expects. But beneath that surface, every element is positioned for impact. I pause in the center of the room, imagining the moment when everything shifts. The silence. The realization. The collapse. I can already see it. He walks in behind me, wrapping his arms around my waist, completely at ease. He thanks me for organizing the event, says it will impress the right people. Says he is lucky to have me. I rest my hand over his and nod, letting him believe every word he just said. Because in a way, he is right. He is lucky. Lucky that I chose to do this the smart way. Lucky that I am giving him a chance to face the truth in one clean, decisive moment instead of dragging it out in private. And just before I turn off the lights and head upstairs, I glance at the folder resting on the table. Inside it is everything. The evidence. The documents. The end of our marriage. Tomorrow night, in front of everyone he cares about, I am going to hand it to him. And I already know one thing for certain. He will not be able to walk away from that moment the same man he walked in as. The night of the party arrives with a kind of quiet tension that hums beneath everything, like a wire pulled too tight but not yet snapping. I move through the house slowly, deliberately, adjusting details that no one else would notice. The lighting is warm, soft enough to feel intimate, but bright enough for every expression to be seen clearly. The glasses are aligned, the music curated, the screen hidden in plain sight, waiting. Every piece is exactly where it needs to be. This is no longer just a gathering. It is a stage. Guests begin to arrive right on time. His colleagues walk in first, carrying polite smiles and expensive wine. Their voices already laced with curiosity about what this evening is supposed to celebrate. I greet them with ease, my posture relaxed, my tone warm, as if nothing is out of place. His boss follows not long after, stepping into the room with the quiet authority of someone who expects to be impressed. I make sure to give him my full attention, thanking him for coming, watching carefully as my husband notices the effort I am putting into this. He looks pleased, proud even. That almost makes this easier. Then his mother arrives. She steps in like she owns the space, scanning the room with that familiar critical gaze. Her eyes land on me, and for a moment, there is something softer there, something that resembles approval. She compliments the setup, the food, the atmosphere. I nod, accepting it without reacting, knowing how temporary that tone will be. She has no idea what she is about to witness. None of them do. And then she walks in, the woman who thought she could take my place. She is dressed carefully, confident but cautious, staying just close enough to my husband to be noticed without drawing attention. When our eyes meet, she smiles politely, as if we are strangers sharing the same space by coincidence. I return the smile, steady and unreadable. If she feels any tension, she hides it well. That will not last long. The room fills quickly. Conversations overlap. Laughter builds. Glasses clink together. From the outside, everything looks perfect. My husband moves through the crowd effortlessly, shaking hands, making introductions, playing the role he has perfected over the years. He pulls me close at one point, his hand resting on my waist, presenting me as part of his success. I let him. I lean into the performance, matching his energy, smiling when he smiles, speaking when spoken to. Every second stretches, but I remain patient. Timing matters. At some point, he gathers everyone's attention. He clears his throat, lifts his glass, and begins to speak. His voice carries easily across the room, confident, polished. He thanks everyone for coming, talks about growth, about partnership, about the importance of family. The irony is almost unbearable. He glances at me as he speaks, as if including me in a story that no longer belongs to us. People nod, some even clap softly, completely unaware of how fragile this moment really is. That is when I take my first step forward. I move toward the center of the room, my heels quiet against the floor, my expression calm. He notices me approaching and smiles, assuming I am about to join him, to add to his speech, to reinforce the image he has built. I take the glass from his hand gently, holding it for a second before setting it aside. The room begins to quiet, curiosity replacing casual conversation. I can feel every pair of eyes shifting toward me. I do not rush. I let the silence settle. Then I speak. My voice is steady, clear, carrying just enough weight to hold attention without forcing it. I thank everyone for coming, just as he did. acknowledging the importance of the people in this room. I talk about trust, about partnership, about what it means to build something together over time. As I speak, I watch their faces. Some are attentive, some are confused. My husband stands beside me, still smiling, though there is a slight tension in his jaw now. He does not understand where this is going. Not yet. Then I shift. I mention the trip, casually at first. I describe it the way he described it to me. A family getaway. Something small. Something harmless. I pause just long enough for him to nod, for him to relax again. Then I let the next part land. I describe the photos. The ones I was not supposed to see. The ones that told a very different story. The room changes instantly. Conversations stop completely. People glance at each other, then back at us. My husband lets out a small laugh, trying to deflect, trying to turn it into a misunderstanding. He starts to speak, but I raise my hand slightly, not aggressively, just enough to stop him. That is new. He is not used to being interrupted by me. I continue. I talk about patterns, about late nights that did not add up, about messages that were never meant to be found. I do not raise my voice. I do not accuse wildly. I present it calmly, piece by piece, like a story unfolding in real time. The more I say, the more the atmosphere tightens. His boss is no longer relaxed. His mother is staring at him now, her expression shifting from confusion to suspicion. And then I gesture toward the screen. The lights dim slightly, and the first image appears. A photo from the trip. Clear. Undeniable. Followed by another. And another. Then messages. Dates. Times. Evidence that cannot be explained away with charm or confidence. A murmur spreads through the room, low and sharp. Someone gasps. My husband steps forward, his composure cracking for the first time, reaching for the remote, trying to stop it. It does not respond. He turns to me, his voice low and urgent now, asking what I am doing, telling me to stop. I meet his gaze, without flinching. This is the moment he never prepared for. The moment where control slips completely out of his hands. I look back at the room, at the people who now see him clearly, and I take a breath. And this, I say quietly, is only the beginning. The silence after my words lands is heavier than anything I have ever felt. It is not loud. It is not chaotic. It is sharp, focused, suffocating. Every eye in the room is locked onto the screen, onto him, onto me. The images continue to cycle slowly, deliberately, each one peeling away another layer of the illusion he spent years building. My husband stands frozen for a second too long, his hand still hovering uselessly near the remote that refuses to respond. That is when the first crack becomes visible to everyone, not just me. He tries to recover. Of course he does. He forces a laugh, steps forward, and starts speaking quickly, too quickly, saying this is a misunderstanding, that the photos are being taken out of context, that there is a reasonable explanation. His voice rises slightly at the end of each sentence, betraying the control he is trying so hard to maintain. I watch him closely, almost clinically, noting how his confidence collapses in real time. The room does not respond the way he expects. No one laughs. No one nods along. They are waiting, watching, judging. I do not interrupt him right away. I let him speak just long enough to expose himself further. Then I take a step closer, my movement calm but undeniable, and I speak again. I mention the financial records. I mention the transfers that match the dates of those trips, the expenses that were hidden, the accounts he thought I would never check. This time, there is no room for interpretation. The next set of documents appears on the screen. Numbers. Transactions. Clear evidence of money being diverted, not just for an affair, but from shared assets, from accounts that legally required my consent. The reaction in the room shifts from curiosity to something much sharper. Disapproval. His boss leans forward slightly, his expression tightening in a way that signals more than personal disappointment. This is no longer just a marital issue. This is professional. This is reputational. I see the moment the realization hits him. I see the exact second he understands that this will follow him beyond this room. My husband sees it too. His attention snaps toward his boss, panic flickering across his face before he can hide it. That is when he knows. This is not something he can talk his way out of. His mother steps forward next, her voice cutting through the silence with disbelief. She demands an explanation, her tone sharp, defensive, still trying to cling to the version of her son she has always protected. He turns to her, desperate now, trying to reassure her, trying to regain ground anywhere he can. But the more he speaks, the worse it sounds. The words tangle, the excuses contradict each other, and the authority he once carried dissolves into something weak and scattered. She looks at him differently now, not fully convinced yet, but no longer certain. That shift alone is enough. Then I say her name. The room turns toward the woman who has been standing quietly near the back, hoping to disappear into the background. She stiffens instantly, her posture tightening as every gaze lands on her. I do not raise my voice. I do not accuse her with emotion. I simply state facts. Her position at his company. The timeline of their interactions. The messages that clearly show intent, planning, coordination. The screen reflects it all. Her face drains of color as she realizes there is no version of this where she walks away untouched. She tries to deny it. Of course she does. Her voice is softer than his, but just as desperate, insisting that things are being misrepresented. That she had no idea, that she was told a different story. For a brief moment, there is tension in the room again, as if people are deciding who to believe. That is when I reveal the final layer. The messages where she knew. The ones where she encouraged him. The ones where she mocked me, without ever saying my name directly. There is no defense left after that. She stops speaking mid-sentence, her lips pressing together as the weight of it settles. The atmosphere shifts again, this time into something colder. People are no longer just watching. They are distancing themselves. Conversations start in low whispers, not about what is happening, but about what it means. Who knew? Who did not? What this says about him, about her, about the company. The damage spreads quietly, efficiently, just like I planned. That is when my lawyer steps forward. The timing is precise. He moves through the room with quiet authority, placing a folder in my hand before addressing my husband directly. His voice is calm, professional, completely detached from the emotional storm surrounding us. He explains the documents, the legal implications, the filings that have already been submitted, the evidence of financial misconduct that extends beyond personal betrayal. Every word lands with clarity, stripping away any remaining illusion that this is just a private matter. I open the folder and take out the papers, the divorce documents. Clean. Final. I hold them out toward him, not aggressively, not dramatically, just with quiet certainty. For a moment, he does not take them. He stares at me instead, searching for something. Regret. Hesitation. Weakness. He finds none. His hand trembles slightly when he finally reaches forward, the reality of the situation fully settling in. This is happening. Not later. Not in private. Now. In front of everyone who matters to him. Behind him, his boss stands. There is no announcement, no raised voice. Just a firm statement that this will be addressed immediately. That an internal investigation will begin, that his position is no longer secure. It is subtle, but devastating. My husband hears it. Everyone hears it. The last pillar holding up his identity begins to collapse. His mother says his name again, softer this time, almost pleading, as if hoping there is still a version of him she can hold on to. He does not respond. He cannot. His world is narrowing, shrinking down to the papers in his hand and the pen I place beside them. Sign it, I say quietly. No anger, no bitterness, just finality. The room is completely still as he lowers his head and presses the pen to the page. The sound of it moving across paper is louder than anything else in that moment. When he finishes, he does not look up right away. He knows what happens when he does. He knows he will not see the same world he walked into. He thought this was a celebration. He thought he was in control. He thought he had already won. He was wrong. And just when he thinks there is nothing left for me to take, I lean in slightly and speak one last time, my voice low enough that only he can hear it, but clear enough that the weight of it carries beyond us. You forgot one thing, I say. Everything you built depended on me. The room does not erupt after he signs. There is no shouting, no dramatic collapse into chaos. Instead, something colder settles over everything, something final. Conversations resume in low, controlled whispers, but the tone has changed completely. People are not celebrating anymore. They are calculating distance. His colleagues avoid his eyes. His boss steps aside to make a quiet phone call that does not look optional. Even his mother, who once defended him without question, stands still for a moment too long before turning away. Her silence louder than any accusation she could have made. I do not need to say anything else. The damage is already moving beyond this room. I take the signed papers from his hand without rushing, sliding them back into the folder with care. My lawyer nods once, already stepping aside to handle the next steps. Everything is in motion now. Legal, financial, irreversible. I feel it settle into place like the final piece of a structure that no longer needs adjustment. He finally looks up at me, really looks this time, as if seeing me clearly for the first time in years. There is no anger left in his expression. Just confusion, disbelief, and something that almost resembles fear. He opens his mouth as if to speak, but nothing comes out. What could he possibly say now that would matter? The woman who stood beside him earlier is gone. I do not see her leave, but I know exactly when she disappears. Right after the last message appears on the screen. Right after the room turns on her without needing to say a word. She made her calculation just like he did. And just like him, she misjudged the cost. His phone vibrates repeatedly in his hand, messages lighting up the screen. I do not need to read them to know what they say. Opportunities closing. Meetings canceled. Doors shutting quietly, but permanently. I walk through the room one last time, thanking people for coming as if this were any other event. Some of them cannot meet my eyes. Others nod with a kind of respect that was never there before. They understand now. Not just what he did, but what I chose to do in response. I did not lose control. I did not beg. I did not break. I waited. I watched. And then I ended it on my terms. That difference matters more than anything else. By the time the last guest leaves, the house feels different. Lighter. Not because something was removed, but because something false has finally been stripped away. He is still standing near the center of the room, as if he has not fully processed that everyone else has already moved on. I pick up my coat, pausing only long enough to look at him once more. There is nothing left for me to take, and nothing left for him to offer. He says my name quietly, almost like a question. I do not answer. I simply walk past him and open the door. The night air hits differently now, sharper, cleaner. As I step outside, I realize something that surprises me. I am not angry. I am not sad. I am done. So tell me, was I cruel, or was I just finally fair? What I learned from all of this is simple, but it cuts deep. Dishonesty does not destroy a relationship overnight. It erodes it quietly, one lie at a time, until there is nothing real left to save. If you are hiding things, manipulating trust, or treating loyalty like something expendable, understand this. The truth always surfaces. Maybe not immediately, but inevitably. And when it does not just take the relationship down. It takes your reputation, your credibility, and the way people see you forever. If you take anything from my story, let it be this. Respect the person who stands beside you before you lose them completely. Because once they stop reacting emotionally and start thinking strategically, the outcome is no longer in your control. If this story made you feel something, take a second to like the video. Subscribe for more real stories like this, and tell me your opinion. Was this justice or did I go too far?